So I think something stuck out to me. Jammerz mentioned people are kind of somewhat robbing themselves of the freshness when they're playing this cracked beta, just trying to play as much of it as they can before the game is even out. And I feel like it's kind of you can see it in more games these days because it's like with introduction of online and ranked modes, it feels like the average player is a lot more competitive than he used to be. Do you feel like it's kind of like changed the mentality in general? Because it seems like a lot of people just cracking it to be better, not even necessarily because they want to play the game itself.
That's a very good question.
I
Wow.
I do miss something about fighting games just being regular ass games, you know, like a piece of entertainment. Like this whole sort of push towards making them, you know, esports and these sort of competitive endeavors. I do think that something is lost in that transition, and it manifests in the games themselves, how they're designed. They're not designed as games anymore, pieces of entertainment. They're designed as ecosystems. They're designed as an ongoing service. And yeah, I'm still coming to grips with that. You know, like the whole industry has changed so much over the past 5 years, for sure.
Yeah, that's a long time. Oh, please, go for it. I'll talk afterwards.
No, I just want to set the tone. I'm good.
I feel like it's no longer about playing casually and having fun and just being able to enjoy the game. Now it's more about just competing, and not that there's anything wrong with competing and making a name for yourself and working hard and, you know, being able to just try to put yourself out there, especially like as a brand, whether you're a content creator, a competitor, a commentator. But I feel like they're just not fun. I mean, they are fun, but they're just not, it's like taken too seriously when it comes to like everything is just about esports now. Like, what about just having a good time and just having fun with playing just a video game? You know what I mean?
You know, and I think for me, it's most for me, what upsets me is sometimes this mentality comes across in the actual game design as well. Because I sometimes feel like a lot of modern games, I'm going to sound like absolute boomer here, but I feel like a lot of
Go for it, please.
I feel like a lot of recent fighting games sort of feel like they've been designed on an Excel sheet, you know. And it's like, I feel like something has been lost, you know, because back in the day, you know, I feel like fighting games were just an expression for how do we express a virtual martial art and how do we have fun with it to make it as zany and entertaining as possible. Now it's all about like, well, how do we balance all these characters so they're all competitively viable? And it's like, yeah.
Here's the thing. The thing is, when you mention how do we balance this to make them competitively viable, someone once told me, they told me this years ago, because I think we were arguing about, it was either Smash Brothers or a Naruto Ultimate Ninja game. It is a game that's not a traditional fighting game. And I said, this isn't competitive. And he goes, Jammerz, anything with a multiplayer can be competitive. Anything with a multiplayer. And I was like, okay, those words have stuck with me for nearly 8 years now. And it's like, right, with multiplayer comes playing with your friends. You find like-minded people. With like-minded people, someone's going to go, I could put on an event. And we can earn prizes, money, so it kind of just evolved over time. And like you said, well, like both of you have said, now we're at a point where it's just like, oh, now it's just the competitive aspect has kind of manned the helm. That's the priority at the moment. I don't necessarily blame people. That's just evolution. It's the same with phones. We used to press buttons before we touched the screens. Now we're going back to flip phones all of a sudden. You can't really blame anyone. But it's very interesting how things have evolved. Now, do you know, it's interesting when it was mentioned that the average player is playing this game just to be better and keep up. And I was like, I didn't think of it like that. And there are hundreds of people I know that's a bit of exaggeration. There are a number of people I know that they want to be good at these games. They like watching them. They like the vibe that it brings. They want to be good. And it's like, okay, now all of a sudden you've been given, I hate to put it this way, I'm going to get in so much trouble. It's like, right, I'm giving you a way to kind of get a head start before the actual people can play the game. Because when I got to play the game Street Fighter 6 early, one of the people I played, he works for the company. He's been playing it for months. The moment I touched the game for 5 minutes, it kind of felt like an even playing field. And it's like, yeah, because I just know fighting games better than you do. And you can't stop that. You can't deter someone from trying to do that. Because when certain people get their hands on the game officially, you're done. Because they're just that smart. They're just that smart and they understand how it functions. The thing is, being more competitive, I think, because if you remove the CPT or the Capcom Pro Tour from the equation, there's basically competition everywhere. There'll be like a small round robin tournament. There'll be an invitational. There'll be games night. Remember those with your friends? I don't know. There'll be something for people to earn. And then, Hannah, just going back to your point, I think one thing you could add on to that is it's the ability to make money off of playing games now. That might be far-fetched. I might be talking out my ass at this point. But the fact that it doesn't have to be $1 million, I could earn $20, I could earn $50 just by playing this game. And if it increases my chances to make it easier, why would you not take it? I don't know. Now, one thing I remember, a TO said this to me ages ago. He said, if there's anybody, I'm going off topic here, if there's anybody I'd sponsor, it'd be a commentator. It wouldn't be a player. Because the commentators are seen way more than the players. And it's like, right, there's a chance that you might not get on stream, you might not get into the top 8, and it's like, right. So when you come to talk about your brand, think about it. If you enter the bracket and you don't do as well, guess what? Vlog around the venue, have other videos prepared, do tutorial series, something like that. So the visibility you guys are talking about is very good on point. But then obviously commentators being sponsored, that is another topic entirely. We aren't going to discuss that.